Virginia now, and a new surprising poll shows Governor Abigail Spanberger's approval rating has dropped significantly since her election. Our Nick Minock joins us live with this story. So Nick, what seems to be behind Spanberger's declining numbers?
Hey, Michelle, it seems as though registered voters are concerned that Spanberger is not governing from the center or fulfilling her pledge to reduce the cost of living. Whatever the reason, these numbers send a very clear message.
A new poll from the Washington Post and George Mason University shows Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger's approval rating isn't where it should be so early in her administration, especially after a decisive win last November.
I just think it's so exciting to have our very first female governor. Yeah.
She's been in office for 2.5 months. How do you think she's doing?
Great.
Miss the former governor.
You miss Glenn Youngkin?
Absolutely.
Last November, Spanberger won the election with 57% of the vote. Right now, while 47% of voters approved of the job she's doing, 46% do not, which UVA political scientist Larry Sabato says is bad news.
A drop of that margin is stunning, and it should be greatly disturbing to the governor and the governor's staff if it's repeated in other surveys.
Some Democratic strategists tell 7 News internal polling shows the same trend. Governor Spanberger campaigned as a moderate, but some of her first acts in office were to block state law enforcement cooperation with ICE and promoting a divisive redistricting campaign, which would all but eliminate Virginia's Republican representation in Congress. And after running on affordability, state Democrats introduced a flurry of tax increases instead, which may be why most voters surveyed believed her affordability agenda will either have no impact or actually make things more expensive.
And that's an example of where the Spanberger team has to change directions. They really haven't put out very much about affordability.
She ran on affordability. Do you think she's doing good things right there to reduce the cost of living?
Maybe a little too early to tell.
Now, to put all of this into perspective, these are the worst approval ratings for a Virginia governor going all the way back to the mid-1990s when George Allen was governor at this point in his term. Back to you.
All right, so Nick, what's the takeaway? Does this make her change her approach?
Well, Michelle, probably not in the short term. According to the Washington Post and GMU poll, Democrats still support her. They're on board. Republicans, they've never really been big fans of Spanberger's, but independent voters, the voters that Spanberger won over last November, they are now split. The poll shows that slightly more independent voters disapprove of her job performance. So probably not in the short term, but a Virginia Tech analyst was on our air earlier. She told Josh Chapin on air that she wouldn't be surprised if the redistricting referendum failed later this month. If that happens, given how Spanberger has supported that, and if it fails, you might see that having an impact. Reporting in Arlington, Nick Minock, 7 News.
All right, a lot of moving parts to keep an eye on. Thank you, Nick. The post-Schar poll also shed new light on how people in the Commonwealth feel about a referendum to redraw congressional lines. As Nick mentioned, 52% of people expected to vote say they'll approve it. The special election is on April 21st. Early in-person voting is open until April 18th. The new map up for a vote is expected to change Virginia's representative split to 10 Democrats and 1 Republican. Right now, there are 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans. This is all part of a nationwide battle between both parties to get an upper hand in Congress. GOP-favored maps were already approved in Texas, Missouri, and North Carolina. Democrat-favored map was approved in California. There are several other ongoing redistricting efforts still playing out right now, including in Maryland.